Hi, it's Stacey here from TycoonFactory.com, and I wanted to make a short video today on motivation and particularly self-motivation for the reason that when you're an entrepreneur or you have your own business, it can be really difficult sometimes to get motivated, and it's not something that I struggle with anymore, and that's just because I simply love what I do. But when you're first starting out, and sometimes it can feel like a bit of a chore, you're not used to the routine of it, it can be quite difficult. And obviously, if you work a normal sort of 9 to 5 job, you know that if you don't go into work, that you're going to have a boss breathing down your neck, or you're going to get in trouble, or you're not going to get paid. And when you've got your own business, particularly if you've got a passive income business, then you don't have that. I mean, you are the only person that's going to motivate yourself. You're the only good person that's going to kind of tell yourself off, or give yourself a motivational speech to get yourself back on track and back to work. So I wanted to make a short video about some tips and some things that you can do just to self-motivate and make sure that you keep going. And some of them are going to sound a bit strange to you if you've never utilised them before, but trust me, they work. So the first one is to set goals, and this sounds really obvious, but something that I do is I set weekly goals. I write them in my whiteboard in my office, because having them there visually to see, I know that if I'm kind of messing around or looking on Facebook and when I should be working, if I look up, my goals are right there in front of me, and I think, oh, I'm only another article away from achieving that goal this week. So I think having a goal board is something that you can really utilize, that will really help you, and it just keeps you motivated, being able to see them there visually and to know constantly how far away you are from them goals. So keep track of them, check them every week, and renew them at times that's suitable for you. So I do mine weekly, but you might want to do yours monthly or daily, and that's great. Have a goal board and make sure that you set them with realistic targets that you can achieve, because the last thing you want to do is to be having a board full of goals that you are nowhere near achieving, or it's going to take you 10 years to achieve, because that's just going to cause you to get kind of overwhelmed and maybe a bit down about it. So make sure that the achievable sort of mini goals, so little goals towards the steps of your big goal. So another thing that I like to do is to visualize, and this is one of the ones that probably sounds a little bit airy-fairy if you're not used to doing this kind of thing, but it's something that is massive. I mean, I am a massive believer in mindset being a huge part of being successful at business, or any part of your life for that matter. And I think visualization is such a huge part of that. So every single morning when I get up, I do my gratitude. So I think about what I'm grateful for, what I've already achieved in my life, and that straight away puts me in a positive mindset for the day and makes me more focused and motivated. But then also I visualize what it is that I still want to achieve. So I don't visualize sort of like the object, like the dream car, but I would visualize myself driving that car, if that makes sense. So basically what you're doing is visualizing an outcome of you achieving that, as opposed to just the goal, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, visualization is really powerful, and it doesn't matter how many experts you speak to. Like 90% of the really successful business owners that you speak to all have their mindset in the right place. So it is hugely important. So that's the second thing. The third thing is to treat it a bit more like a job and get a routine with it. So if you, like I was saying before, if you work a 9 to 5 job, you go to work 9 to 5, and that's great, because you can just go and do that and then come home and forget about work. However, when you've got your own business, it's not quite as sort of straight cut as that. You're not in kind of this zone where you work and then stop at a certain time and then you go home and forget about it, because most of the time you won't forget about it. Your business is constantly in your mind, and that's totally normal. But if you can start and treat it a little bit more like a job, and it becomes a little bit more of a routine for you, then that's going to benefit you. So if you can set yourself working hours every day, whether you want to work 4 hours a day or 10 hours a day, whatever it may be that suits you, set yourself working hours if you can, and try your best to stick to them. Now obviously one of the benefits of having your own business is that you can work the hours you want, which is great, but just try and get in some kind of routine with it, so you know that when you get up every morning, you do your morning ritual, whatever that may be, and then you do 5 hours work, and then you're off for the rest of the day. And if you can do that, that's going to really help you stay motivated and focused, because you don't have to think about it. You're not thinking, okay, well, I'll go out and I'll go and see my friends now, and then I'll come back and I'll have some lunch, and if I've got time, I'll do a couple of hours work. You know, that shouldn't be a thing. You should have in your head straight away, okay, I get up in the morning, I do this, and you know, it just takes kind of that pressure off, because you don't have to think about that. So the next thing, and it's something that I totally admit that I've only recently started doing religiously, is exercise. And I was completely unfit previously, and I'm kind of slowly getting there now. It's something that obviously takes time, but I have started exercising. I swim daily, and I've now found that just puts me in such an energetic mood for the rest of the day. I feel motivated, I feel energized. It's this whole old thing of energy breeds energy. So if you can exercise when you get up, that's great. Or even if it has to be later in the day, it has to be later in the day, that's fine. But it's just going to help you kind of focus your mind. It puts you in a really energized mood, which is obviously motivating in itself. And I think it's just a great thing to do. It's a great thing to have as part of your daily routine. Something that I utilize for motivation is a to-do list, and I've spoke about this quite a few times in a few different videos now, because it really is my kind of system that works for me. So I'll write a list every day of what I have to do, with the most important tasks at the top, and I almost have a line between the tasks that have to be done that day, and then at the bottom I've got some tasks that, okay, I could do with doing these today, but if they don't get done, that's fine. And I have a set time to work through them, and because I've got a set time to work through them, I will work as hard as I can to make sure that I get everything on that list done that day. So that's really motivating in itself, because I know that I need to achieve everything on that list that day, otherwise I kind of feel a bit negative, I guess, down on myself, which is very not like me, but I have to get things done. So I tend to write down the most important things at the top, and I know that I can do those within my working hours, and that works really well for me motivation, because I'm not reaching the point where I think, oh, I didn't get everything done and now I feel deflated. So a to-do list, very, very good. And there's something almost kind of like, I don't even know the word for it, but there's something really nice about when you can tick something off, you know, that's quite motivating in itself. So utilize a to-do list, you know, that'll really help you. And just kind of as a side note of that, try and focus on one task at a time. So if you've got 10 things to do on your to-do list, just kind of focus on task one, because if you kind of thinking, oh, I'm doing this task now, but I've got 10 more tasks to do after this, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're not going to provide your best to the task at hand. So make sure that you just focus on one of those tasks at a time and work through the list. And these couple of things are almost like motivating, but on an emotional level, if you like. So the first thing is being positive and being able to almost give yourself a pep talk. So if you're having a day where you think, okay, nothing's going right and this, that and the other, which happens to us all at times, if you can kind of pull yourself out of that and give yourself a bit of a pep talk, it's just about being positive, you know. I mean, positivity in itself is energizing and motivating. And if you can surround yourself with other people that are like that, then great. You'll find that those people will pull you up as well. So try and be as positive as you can, just generally. And the last thing is to make your downtime, so the time that you spend with friends and family, not work, and make that really quality time. Don't just kind of sit around and watch whatever's on the telly. I mean, obviously that's fine if there's a film you really want to watch, but what I mean is make that time count, because if you've got really quality home time or family time, then it's going to make the work time seem less of a chore, because you've got a good work-life balance. And if you check out the YouTube channel, I have actually just recently made a video on work-life balance, which I think is really good, really important. So those are just a few things to help you self-motivate. And you know, it's a really powerful thing is mindset. You know, it's one of the kind of main things, and when you speak to successful people, it's the one thing that you notice that they have in common time and time again. So check all that out, you know. Try and do some of these, and you should find that self-motivation is something that comes with practice as well. It's something that I do not struggle with at all anymore, and that's simply down to the fact that I absolutely love what I do, and I think if you do have a passion for what you do, it makes it so much easier. So I guess the final tip is just to do something that you're really passionate about, you know, do something that you love, and it just comes easily to you then. So I hope that's been of some help, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I shall see you later, guys.